So as you might have seen, Zach Lavine has recently switched agents from BDA Sports Agency to now signing with Klutch Sports Group, a very well-known sports agency in the NBA, as some of the biggest stars in the league are represented by Klutch. So what does this mean for Zach Lavine? What does it mean for the Chicago Bulls? Why is Zach switching sports agents after nearly 8 years with BDA Sports? And that's what I want to talk about in this video. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So Klutch Sports Group, probably the most well-known sports agency in basketball because they represent some of the most polarizing stars in the NBA, and obviously Rich Paul, the CEO of Klutch Sports, is a longtime friend of LeBron James and has been representing LeBron since the start of his career and ever since he left his initial sports agency and started up Klutch back in 2012. And some of their more prominent clients that they represent are, of course, LeBron James, Ben Simmons, Anthony Davis, John Wall, Anthony Edwards, Draymond Green, and our very own Lonzo Ball. And now, of course, Zach Lavine will be added to the list of clients. So naturally, when something like this happens, when a player parts ways with their agent, especially when they make the move to Klutch, NBA Twitter goes crazy and rumors ensue that somehow this is a strategic move or there is an ulterior motive on the player's part for wanting to team up with LeBron James or some of the other big name in Klutch Sports. And it's always funny to me because I think people often forget that it's in Klutch's best interest to get their clients the best contract possible because obviously they get a cut of their salary, and because the NBA has a salary cap, it is in their best interest to ensure that their client list is diversified across multiple teams since teams only have so much cap room to offer for their roster spots. It's not like Klutch would be able to assemble a team full of Klutch players if they want to maximize their contract value under management, which, by the way, Klutch has a total value of contracts under management of $1.68 billion and net around $58.1 million in commissions alone for said contracts. And of course, that doesn't include endorsement deals that the players would receive in additional compensation. So when I see people commenting that Lavine signing with Klutch means he's going to be leaving the Bulls when he becomes a free agent to join the Lakers because that's where Klutch's two biggest clients in LeBron James and Anthony Davis play, to me it's just hilarious because the Lakers, first of all, don't have the salary cap space even to make that work. And even though they'll free up some space with expiring contracts next year, they don't have the money to be able to offer Lavine a max contract that he is going to command. And then conversely, you have some people saying, well, this means LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to come to the Bulls because now the Bulls have two Klutch athletes in Lonzo and Lavine. Like, guys, how could a team like the Bulls, who are virtually already capped out and also don't have the trade assets to complete a sign and trade to try and bring in AD or LeBron, which, by the way, both are under contract, AD being under contract for the next 4 years. So in order for them to get any of these players, they would have to be done via trade. How would the Bulls be able to pull off a team of Lavine, LeBron, and Anthony Davis all requiring max level contracts, and DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo who are also on very large contracts as well? I know that Acme are pulling off some incredible moves and doing some phenomenal salary cap maneuvering, but there also are just some things that are impossible to do in the NBA when operating under the salary cap. Now, what does this in fact mean for Lavine by signing with Klutch is a couple of things. One, he wants representation from one of the best sports agencies in basketball as he goes into probably the biggest offseason of his career, becoming an unrestricted free agent to ensure he gets the biggest payday possible now that he's becoming a much bigger name than he was when he was last a free agent in 2018. And because of Klutch's history in getting their clients paid big money in guys like Ben Simmons, Anthony Davis, John Wall, Draymond Green, who were able to secure very big contracts, probably more so than what they were valued for Zach Lavine, he wants to ensure that he's going to get a max contract no matter what, and that Klutch will be able to get that done if the Bulls waver at all in getting him a max contract. Because look, this new front office, we know they're strong negotiators. They have made that pretty clear in their short time with the Bulls and, of course, in their prior roles for Arturas with the Nuggets and Mark Eversley with the Sixers. And if I'm Zach Lavine, yes, I'm expecting a max contract, and yes, I'm confident that the Bulls are going to be willing to make that happen, but you also want to make sure you have an agent that is going to fight for you in getting exactly what you want, just in case. Now, of course, the Bulls, because they hold Lavine's bird rights, they have the ability to offer him a max contract worth more than any other team in the league, which is a 5-year deal, whereas any other team would be able to offer him a max contract on 4 years. So the Bulls have the cards in their favor in order to retain Lavine for the long term, which that's been known. But of course, there has been debate really for the past couple of seasons, really, whether in fact Lavine is worth a max contract, which I think by now, especially given Lavine's past season and having the best year of his career, being selected as an all-star, and just the fact that he's been getting better and better every season, that the majority of people would agree that Lavine is worth a max contract, especially when you look across the league and see what other players are getting paid. And I do think ultimately the front office will offer Lavine that 5-year max deal, but should there be any doubt in that, there isn't a better agency than Klutch to lock that down with the Bulls front office. The other reason this is significant for Lavine is that it now enables him to be more closely tied to the recruiting process of other players, especially as it relates to other Klutch athletes. Klutch has always been known to be a very open and involving their big name clients in their recruitings and dealings with other Klutch athletes, and allowing their clients to have input on who they would like to play alongside with. Again, where possible, as I mentioned before, it's not always feasible depending on cap space availability, but by Lavine signing with Klutch, he now will have more of a say and impact on the team's moves and transactions, and be a vocal figure when it comes to recruiting players, which you've been seeing more from Lavine in the past year, and really furthering developing those bonds and friendships with players, Lonzo Ball being one of them. We see him spending time with guys like Kevin Durant, among others, who were on Team USA, Zion Williamson more recently. Not saying that these players are going to be coming to Chicago, as I know some Bulls fans have been hoping for, but in general, Lavine has been showing up more to be a prominent voice when it comes to recruiting players for free agency, which, to be honest, is something we really just didn't see in a player like Derrick Rose, as an example, in his heyday. Lavine has been much more active and vocal in building relationships with other players, and it's nothing against D Rose, I just don't think that was his type of personality, at least not when he was younger anyway. So Lavine signing with Klutch, is it noteworthy? Yes, because anytime you sign with an agency like Klutch, it's going to be a big deal and it's going to make headlines. And it's significant in the sense that Lavine means business in getting the best agent possible for his upcoming free agency. But is Lavine signing with Klutch significant enough in the sense that it means Lavine is doing this as a means to team up with another Klutch athlete, or that there is an ulterior motive to have Rich Paul get him out of Chicago? No, not at all. I mean, Rich Paul just brought one of his bigger clients to Chicago in Lonzo Ball, and was so eager to announce this signing that now the Bulls are being investigated into potential tampering as a result, which we still are waiting on the results of what that outcome will be, by the way. I know some of you in the comments have been saying you thought that the investigation was over since Lonzo was officially signed to the Bulls, but that isn't actually the case at all. He will be a Chicago Bull no matter what, but the investigation is still ongoing, and the Bulls could face potential penalties in the form of fines or draft picks as a result, if they are in fact found guilty. Now, at the time of this recording anyway, no additional information has been shared regarding the status or the update of this investigation, and I'll be sure to keep you guys posted as more news of this comes out. Anyway, let me know what you guys think though of Zach Lavine signing with Klutch Sports. Is it something or nothing? What do you think it means for the Bulls and their future? Let me know in the comments, and as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.